Hello and welcome to Learning Music with Pat. On my last segment, I showed you this beautiful little instrument, a saxophone, an electronic saxophone. It is playable, and we never played it during the last segment, so I thought today somebody has handed me a couple of batteries, we'll just test it out and see what this little thing does. It has a remarkable shape. It's shaped like a tenor sax, and the thing that I really like about it is that it's shaped correctly. The size of the bell on a tenor saxophone is really quite large, so I'm pleased with it, and I just want to try it here. Let me try something else. Well, that one doesn't work. That's what I did. These three have the songs on it. The other, it does play. Now I'm doing this with my hands. We'll stop it there, hopefully. So this is it, a little instrument that's electronic that does play. I have another electronic instrument that's a saxophone that's maybe 1.5 feet long. It does not play. It's electronic, but it does not play. It did it one time. The problem I had with it when I went to play it is that you had to blow into it to make it play. That was the idea. You play it, you blow into it like a regular saxophone. But if you blew with more and more air, what you get is the note changed. It became higher and higher pitch, so you might end up with notes that you didn't even intend to play because it wouldn't hold one sustained tone. It had to pitch higher and higher as you blew into it more and more. So this is this. I like it very much. What I want to show you, as you know, I am bringing in instruments that are rare, that you won't find in many places, and I showed you the Maui Safoon last time. This is a one-piece metal clarinet. Very, very old. I can't play it because it needs to be restored, but it's very, very old. These metal clarinets were student models. I can remember when I was in high school, and I can tell you that was a long time ago, and there were two girls that were twins that played clarinet in the high school band. They each had one of these metal instruments, but they were bright and shiny and played well, and I loved them. At the time I was playing saxophone, and I hadn't even started clarinet. I didn't start clarinet until I was in college. My college music professor wanted me to start clarinet, and since I've fallen in love with the clarinet, I just love the instrument. But this is the metal ones that they used to have in older age, and I'll turn it around so you can see it. It's just like any other clarinet. I mean, it's got the tone hole in the back, it's got all the keys on the side, it's got the keys on top. As you know, most clarinets are open hole, so you have to have your fingers covering the hole exactly, or you will get a squeak. And with these metal clarinets, I imagine that's a pretty simple thing to do, is to get a squeak. This is how you hold the clarinet. And then you can move the side keys just by moving your finger a little bit. These keys are all legitimate. It's a beautiful instrument. If I could get it restored, I don't know how much it would cost to do it. I would need to get it restored, but I would love to have it restored and polished up. You can polish these. You can make them very brilliant. You know, I should probably have it lacquered. If I had it lacquered, it would be permanently polished. But this is what it is. Compare it to my normal clarinet, which I brought in. This is one piece. The clarinet which I brought in, one of my clarinets, is a 5-piece instrument. And this is the bell. I'm sorry, this is a barrel. I can just take it off. Notice the cork. What you need to do when you're playing is to every few times you take it off, you put a little cork grease or a little Vaseline and put it back on by twisting it gently. I showed this to you last time. This is the upper body. This is the lower body. And this is the bell. So you normally have those 5 pieces. Now the 5 pieces includes the mouthpiece, bell, lower body, upper body, and barrel, and then you have the mouthpiece. They're beautiful instruments. I do love them. And you know, when you take them off, if any of you are students and it has any kind of cork on it, make sure you lubricate that cork every second or third time you play it. And when you put it on very gently by twisting it. You don't jam it on. People do that and they end up with injured instruments, and it's too bad because that's never the way that you put an instrument together. You put it together. And I used to, when I was teaching, I would give lessons, and this is the way that you put the instrument together. If you do it any other way, you can jam something and damage the instrument, which you do not want to do. So this is the clarinet, and this is the metal clarinet. Hold them side by side. And you can see, I mean, they're exactly alike, except this is only one piece, and this has the 5 pieces, including the mouthpiece. It's very rare that you see a metal clarinet. It's just very rare that you see it. And I just happened to order it from a company. I looked through what they had, and I thought, you know, I would like to have a metal instrument, a metal clarinet. And so what I did was I ordered it. And it's one of those, you take it as is. Well, I didn't realize when I said that I would take it as is, they would have so much that was needed to be done to it. I thought it would be practically ready to play when I picked it up. And it wasn't, of course. It looked just like it does now because I've never had a chance to restore it. But at any rate, let's go on here with some music. And what I'm going to do, I was going to bring in my bass, but I just had too much to carry and I couldn't do it. So we're going to do a piece that I wrote, and I've done it before, but I wanted to do it because I wanted to add a bass to it. As it turned out, I couldn't bring in the bass, but we'll go on with it, and then I'll kind of dissect it for you. This is number 15, and let's do it on single track. Done is I've written just a simple melody, and what I like to do when I'm writing for students is I like to write simple melodies and then to add simple harmonies to it. And so when I'm teaching them, we're playing a lot of duets together. They seem to like it better than just playing by themselves a melody line. We can switch, I can teach them the harmony, and then when we do concerts, as we sometimes do, and I used to do a lot of concerts, I could play with them, they could play music, the harmony part, the melody part. I want to do this now with the double track, and then after that we'll do it again, but I'll put an alto to it. the alto because I want to add the depth that the alto can give it. And you'll notice that depth. It makes quite a bit of difference. And the deeper the instrument, the more instruments you add, the more depth that you have. The song may sound fine when you're playing it by yourself and you can only play one line at a time. You can only play the melody. If you're playing piano, you can add harmony. If you're doing guitars and other strings, you can add harmony. If you're on a woodwind or a brass, it takes several fingers to play one note. You can't do harmony. You can only do one line. It's going to be a melody line or it's going to be a harmony line. So it's always wise, and what I like to do with students is to get them all together and have them play various parts, which I would write out, and then they have like a quartet going with a 4-part harmony or 3-part harmony, and they liked it. It was interesting to listen to. The more you add to it, the more it becomes a better sounding song. So we'll do it now, and I'm going to do it on the alto. So we'll try it once again, then I'll dissect it for you. Double track. So you see how much depth that gives you. I want to take and kind of dissect this for you, but this is the way we go. This is 4/4 time. That means you have 4 beats to the measure, and the 4 is equivalent to quarter notes. So this is a rest, and it has 2 beats on it. You know, because that rest is on the line of the B and it's sticking up. If it were a 4-beat rest, it would be hanging down from the D line rather than sticking up on the B line. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be like an introduction if I had written it out that way. It's a part of the song, but we can consider it an introduction. And then you have 2 half beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, the quarter notes are 1 beat, and this is a whole note, so that has the full 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could have written that as a dotted half and another note. It would add up to the same thing, but the normal way is just to make it the whole note, which I did. And then we have quarter notes, 1, 2, and the half note, 2 beats. This is held. This is not a phrase mark. This is a hold mark. With the small ones are hold marks. And that means even though this is a different note in a different measure, it's the same note. You hold it over as if it's 1 note instead of 2. It's written as 2 because I've gone into another measure. But if I take that half note and add the quarter to it, I'm going to actually hold that for 3 beats and add the other quarter notes to it. And the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. But those 2 are hold as if it's 1 note, so you would actually hold that for 4 beats. And then you go to the other 3 and 4 with different holds all the way down. Now, when I get down here, I have a retard, R-I-T. I didn't write it in very large, but it's a retard. That means you slow that down, you hold that, and there are 2 hashtags there, you might say. That stops the music. You come to a complete stop like it's done with, and then you start over like the song is repeating itself, which basically it is, as it repeats itself, and it's like you started it again. I didn't use any repeat marks. I just kept the hashtags there. You stop it, and then you go through it again, and you go through here, you get here, and then I have a little retard. Normally when you're coming to the end of a song, you retard it, make it slower, and then you have a hold. This is a longer note. It's actually going to be 6 beats long. I have this mark here. That is a hold. That means you can hold that as long as you want. It would be 6 beats normally. It's the last note, but as a hold, and I'm slowing it down, I may want to hold that for 8 beats or more, and then you have the 2-beat rest. No repeat signs. It's like I repeated that song twice. Now over here, I put a harmony, which to me, if I were teaching the harmony, I could have a student learn to play that. What I usually tend to do is improvise everything I'm doing, except for the melody line. So I just made up the melodies, the harmonies I went along. I added some scale work, and so therefore I didn't play anything that was like this at all. But that's what I tend to do. I tend to just make up in my head what I want to play, and I play it. Now I'm going to play it again. We will use a single track. I want you to follow the music and see if you can figure out 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And see if you can figure out the timing just by following the notes. And if you can, then basically it won't be that hard for you to actually play it. So I'll use the C melody, and we'll do it with a single track. I may play harmony. I may switching back and forth between harmony and melody, but I would basically like to have you follow the notes and see if you can kind of get a sense of where we are in the music, and this will help you learn to play. So we'll do that now. You can see how much better it sounds with the harmony. When I played the G, I went, that was part of the harmony. So this G is played like this with 3 fingers down, and when I wanted to get that to be a G sharp, I can do it 2 ways. What I did, I just moved my finger and I half hold it. When you take a note and you move your finger so only half the hole is covered, that's half holding. So I could go, but I also could have done, instead of pulling that to one side, I could play the A, and then I flatten the A with these 2 fingers, leaving this hole open, and since it is an enharmonic note, it's going to come out to that G sharp anyway. So sometimes there are different ways that you can play a note, depending upon what's handy and what you prefer to do. Now, we don't have any time for me to go into something else, so I'm going to stop it here. I'll be bringing in more instruments and more music for you to listen to, and hopefully to help you to learn how to play it. You'll be seeing more instruments that are unusual that most people don't have. I have quite a collection, so I'll continue to do that. So we'll close it here. Please join me next time.